Hi there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm getting into the new Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow palettes. I picked up 3 of them. Big investment here, trying out a new formula for the first time. This is a new release from Lisa Eldridge. She's never had these eyeshadow palettes before, but look at this packaging. So Lisa, if you don't know, she is very into historical beauty, and she has a whole collection of sort of antique cosmetic components and compacts, and this style definitely is old school. I mean, except for the back, it's just got this ridged top, and the mirror in it is beautiful. It's weighty, but it's not too weighty. These are good size eyeshadow palettes. It has a nice mirror. These are just so lovely, and I love the color of gold that they are. Very classy. So I'm going to be getting into the details of the palette, swatches, and I'll be trying all 3 palettes on my eyes. I have Vega, Myth, and Sorcery. To me, these were the most interesting palettes of the bunch. There were some warmer tone and more neutral palettes, but I wanted to pick up the ones that interest me the most. So these are the ones that I got. If you have never heard of Lisa Eldridge, you're new to the brand, she is a makeup artist in the UK. She is most famous for her matte lipsticks, and she did release some lipsticks with this launch. I did not pick them up because I have so many lipsticks already, and a lot of them were not really my colors, but I will be pairing all 3 looks with 3 different lip shades. And on my face right now, my complexion is Lisa Eldridge. I have the Seamless Skin Foundation in shade 2 on my face. I also have, which is no longer available right now, the Enlivening Blush in Pink Soap. That is on my cheeks. And I have the Elevated Glow Liquid Highlighter in Cosmic Rose on the cheekbones. Just wanted to remind you to click the like button if you like what you're seeing, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, so these palettes, very excited to get them. I know a lot of people are doing videos on these palettes. I'm honestly surprised she came out the gate with so many different colors in these palettes. She has 6. These are expensive though. These are much pricier than I like to purchase for 6 shades. Honestly, this is very much luxury makeup. So these palettes are $68 each for 6 shades. That's a lot of money. So one of the questions is, are these worth it? You'll find out at the end how much a product is in here. These are made in Italy. There is 5.4 grams of product, 0.19 ounces total. These last 24 months. Depending on the palette you get, there's a different textures of eyeshadow. There's matte, metallic, luminous, and some of the palettes have unique formulas, so not every palette has the same. So there's velvet top coat as well, and which is not your typical matte, a little bit softer or metallic top coat, seamless matte, luminous duo, meaning luminous duochrome. So with these palettes, those are the formulas that we get. All right, guys, I am such a dummy. I already have a look on, but I wanted to mention the bag that I got for free because I got 3 products with my order, and this is such a cute pink bag. This is her velvet bags. These are not new, but this color is new, and this bag is gorgeous. It's black on the inside. There's no pockets or anything. It's pretty small, but this color I think is really cute. A lot of people are excited about it. Oh, just adorable. So if you are into Lisa Eldridge and you're into getting free stuff, consider what this bag will do for your collection. I'm gonna start throwing up swatches, but before I get into that, just want to talk about how the swatches feel on the hands. Some of these shades, definitely the more metallic-y, shimmery ones, definitely feel softer and creamier. The velvets and a lot of the matte or velvet shades, they definitely feel drier than I expected to the touch, but that doesn't mean that they're not pigmented and they're not nice. They just a little bit different of a texture with the velvet finish. It's interesting. So I will note that I have tried Myth on my eyes once. but I will show you guys again today. But here is swatches for all 3 palettes coming up. Wanted to mention really quick that these are refillable, very important, and probably adds to the expense of the palette, to be honest, that you can pop any of these shades out when you're done. There's a little hole back here. You can put a pin, pop them out, and replace any one of these shades. And actually you can put any of the colors. She sells all of the colors individually, and you can essentially create your own palette. You do have to buy at least one of the palettes as is to start out. Then you can pop them out, and if you want to buy different shades and put them in, you can totally do that. But I think because it's refillable is probably why this is on the heavier cost end at front. But I don't know, honestly, I like the option of refillable packaging. I don't know that honestly I've really hit pan on the eyeshadow in a very long time, so I don't know that I'll love any of these shades that much that I'll want to refill them, but it's a nice option. But yes, these do come out. If you are curious, like why the expense, forget about that. These are refillable, very important. All right, so hopefully those swatches were helpful, but let's start with the try on tutorial, whatnot. This is Vega. This is a neutrally / cool toned palette, a little bit basic, but some of these textures actually amp things up for nighttime. And we do sort of have a dark charcoaly color here and a gray and some really nice shimmer. This was a really nice palette. Let's get into it. This is a nice looking color story here, in my opinion. Yes, it's basic, but it's got a little bit of an edge to it, which attracted me. And we don't always see companies coming out straight out the gate with this color story. Sometimes it happens later. So I'm excited by that. All right, so the first shade I'm trying here is Velvet French Gray. This is a velvet. And I'm using natural hair rougher brushes. And I am not using a primer. I'm just taking this all over the lid. What scares me about light shades like this is they're not always that easy to see in my skin tone, but because this is gray, it does show up on me. If it was warmer and more of a bone ivory color, it would, you know, sort of get rid of the discoloration on my lid and sort of blank things out. But it's not a color I usually can see very well on my skin, so it's kind of a nothing color, but this does actually stand out. So I like the color of this. I could honestly use it in so many different looks. So this is one I could see using regularly and possibly hitting pan on. But you can see how smooth that is, how easy it is to blend out, and it shows up. So last time I used this brown shade, stunning, but I kind of want to use this Smoke and Mirrors shade. This is a seamless matte and not the velvet formula, and I want to get a little bit smoky, maybe just on the lash line here a little bit. What I find funny about cool tone or very neutral-ish palettes, not warm, they tend to have a lot of black and silver and just all about smoke. And I wish there were palettes that didn't have sort of this dark gray smoke color, because while I think it's pretty, to me it's not always the most flattering to pull off during the daytime on my skin tone. It's just such a contrast. Now you could certainly stop here and let you, this is enough smoke for you, and you know, without sort of a dark eyeliner, it's pretty much day appropriate. I mean, you can get away with it. Of course, there's no rules, but for me, for my personal preferences, things get dark and smoky really fast and sort of overwhelm my eyelid and make me look older. Sometimes smoky looks just kind of age me quite a bit. So I get a little bit nervous about using colors like this, but this is such an interesting shade. I'm glad I'm trying it out because it's definitely more of a gray. I don't know that I have a color like this, to be honest, because I thought it was gonna be too dark, more of a black, a smoky black. But that blends really nice, even with a very sort of compact, dense brush. I'm gonna blend it out with a fluffier brush now. I'm seeing just a little bit of fallout, not a whole lot. We have a couple other options. We can go even darker here, this sort of black shade. Let's do something under the eye here. I'm gonna use a small little brush, kind of do an eyeliner look. So that's very precise. I really want to sort of blow it out. So now we're getting into a very smoky territory, but not keeping all that darkness on the top lash line where things can look a little heavy. Keeping it under the eye, really. All right, so now it's time to sort of waken the eye, brighten things up, add a little bit of taupey shimmer. So that black shade was Lamp Black, and that was another seamless matte. So I'm gonna go into Moon Swirl, which is our metallic sort of taupe shimmery shade here. And I'm gonna use a brush, a flat brush, and see what this can do for the look. Just all across the middle of the lid here. We are sort of covering up some of that smoke, but not completely. I do want to use my finger though, just to amp it up a little bit more. It's you know, a metallic, but it's not like the most high shine, but it's pretty shiny. That is a pretty color. All right, we are all shined up. Now let's use this last shade in the palette. This is a luminous shade, Supernova, and I'm gonna attempt, this is a very soft shade, so I'm gonna attempt to put this on the inner corner. This is probably the most glittery, sparkly shades. I'm gonna use a softer brush because it's picking up a lot of dust. A little bit of fallout there with the looser sort of press. It's not pressed in super hard, so picks up real easy. Okay, that is sort of a mirror-like chromey finish. Not a lot of base behind it. It's all about shine. But that is a pretty nice touch. Right, I'm gonna blend this out just a bit, apply some mascara, and I will show you which lipstick I'm gonna pair this with. All right, I just jumped into the final look. This Vega eyeshadow palette was really easy to put this look together. Everything is pretty simple in my opinion, and I like the smoky shades. I went for the brown look the first time, which was very pretty, but I do sort of like this very cool tone, charcoaly but sparkly look. I think it's a nice alternative to a typical smoky eye, which usually doesn't always have like a lot of shine and sparkle, but you can really amp this up. This would be a perfect nighttime look, but if you want to take this to nighttime and you want to wear something for the day, there's a lot of matte options here as well. So the lipstick I chose to pair with this look is Painterly. This is the Lucent formula. And I think it goes pretty well, and it's almost like a, I don't know, rosy nude that's not in your face, and the texture is really comfortable. I am a huge fan of this Vega palette. I think there needs to be more palettes out there in this color story. Of course, more colors would help, but I think this is a nice option if you're into luxury makeup that is refillable. All right, so let's get into the next eye look. The next one I want to do is Sorcery, because to me, this is the most fun and playful. All right, getting into Sorcery, I do have a few sparkly remnants from the last look on my eye, but this palette I love. It looks a lot of fun, but there's not a lot of mattes in here to work with besides the black. Troubadour, which is this green matte color, is our seamless matte. The rest of these are metallic, except for this is a duochrome, which is super pretty. I am gonna start with Troubadour, the seamless matte, which is a dark green though, just to start things off. Sometimes it can be challenging for me to start with a shimmery shadow right off the bat. So even though this green one is a little dark, I'm going to try this one out first. I do like a dark green matte shadow. I've always liked them. I do like greens. It is an eyeshadow color that attracts me quite a bit. I think this brush has some sparkles on it. Wow, that is pretty. Okay, I'm gonna use something a little bit denser. I'm just gonna start this sort of lining the eyes, not taking it too far up. You guys can see I got some foundation removed from the makeup wipe, so I'm a little bit red around the eyes. Okay, so we have that down. I'm gonna blend it out so we don't have harsh lines here. Whew, I think I should have powdered my face a little bit more because of all this makeup removal. Okay, on to sort of blending this out a little bit. I think I probably could have gotten away with applying a lot less, but we have a really dark base now. This is a pretty green. Probably one of the prettiest dark green mattes I've seen in a long time. I will say, without the primer and me sort of removing everything that was on my lid, makeup and foundation and all that, a little bit harder to blend this color out, not as easy. It just sticks a little bit, but not too bad. That is a pretty shade. If you needed a matte one and done shadow, this is a good candidate. Wow, really stunning. Okay, I'm impressed with this palette so far, so let's figure out what I'm gonna do. So these two shades really attract me. I do sort of like these green and yellow golds. The blue, I have to say, I'm not gonna use in this look because greens and blues is not really my style for makeup, but man, I really want to use everything. I'm gonna start with this guy here, which is Mage Metallic. I'm gonna start with sort of a flat brush here. Go in the middle. Ooh, this is like a taupey green, something not too wild, but still really pretty and reflective and shiny and sparkly. That's nice. It's not super like I'm here, but I really like it on top of that matte. Kind of makes it come alive a little bit. Wow. Pretty taupey green. I really like the combination of these two. You could just stop right here, those two shadows, and be done. Wow. That is nicer than I expected. Okay, so I do want to try this purple green duochrome shade here. This is Mercurial Luminous Duo. Where do I want to put this guy? I'm thinking towards the center here. This looks like a fallouty shade just because it's got a lot of sparkle. A lot of shine there. Wow, that is exquisite. So in this lighting, I'm seeing a lot of green in the shift and not as much purple. But I'm sure if I change my lighting up, I will see that purple. Wow, that is stunning. So a lot of glitter. But oh my goodness, this is almost like a mermaid ethereal. How pretty is that? Ooh. Well, this is so much fun. Okay, that, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. That is nice. I'm gonna add a little bit of this metallic green just to the outer edge, just to see what it's like, because I'm here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use those two. I mean, I could, but you know. So this is Grotto. This is a metallic. Don't know how I feel about her. It's going on nice. A little slow build up here. Make things even more shiny green. We weren't green enough. This makes us greener. I think if you apply this with a finger, this would be very impactful very quickly, but I kind of like the build up that it's giving. Stunning. All right. I think I'm just gonna choose something for the under eye here. And what do I want to do? I don't want to put something super sparkly. Maybe I'll just stick to the matte Troubadour shadow under here, just for a little more definition, cohesiveness. I think there's sparkle on the brush anyway. A lot of fallout in this palette, but hey, it's worth it. Okay, bit of a mess, Definitely recommend doing your foundation last with this palette, and at least doing some concealer cleanup, especially with these duochrome glitteriness. Wow, that's pretty though. What a fun look. I'm gonna do some blending because we got with some darkness going on the edge here. I just want to smooth that out a hair, help with the transition, because when you have these dark, rich, beautiful metallics, we don't want a hard stop around the edge. Wow. What can I say? So I already have mascara on, and I'm gonna do another look, so I'm not gonna put any more on, but you could definitely make this look even better with some eyeliner, some more mascara, some lashes. I'm gonna throw on a lipstick with this guy and call it a day. I'll take some photos. We'll be back with the final look. All right, here is the final look. The lipstick I used is Velvet Affair. This is actually a matte, but I put it over a lip balm just because I changed out my lipstick. And this is a, I want to say warm, very much brown nude. And I don't know that it quite goes with the green. Sometimes green is one of those colors where you're like, should I go warm? Should I go cool with your, you know, the cheek color or the lips? I think maybe a rosier color maybe would have been better, but this is what I went with, and I can't show you the color because the stick is actually broken. But I do really like the shadow. This eyeshadow palette, it is so pretty. It's actually way better on the eyes than I expected. The swatches are gorgeous, but on the eyes, it is something else, and you can make this super dramatic or just something a little cool and chill, and Oh, I just have some green shimmer on my eyes. You don't have to use all the shades. I used 4 of them, and this is the result. So you can only imagine what these blue and gold would look like together. But this is a really fun, stunning palette. I'm happy with this look for sure. Last look is Myth. This is the purpley palette. Now I love purples, and I'm really excited to try some of these shades. I will say from the swatches, this one to me was a bit disappointing. This is the Illusionism top coat, and it's just a sort of very iridescent pink top coat with no base, and it's definitely a pink color I've seen in a lot of palettes. So it's not super special to me, but we shall see what it's like on the lid. I just was not super impressed with it, especially in the swatch. But I'm gonna try out this little palette. I'm actually excited for this shade here, Mauve Decade, super pretty. So let's get into this one. I'm gonna start out with Mauve Decade because why not? I'm excited. Again, ignore the sparkles that exist on my face. Those are just from the old palettes. And my foundation is definitely disturbed from all the makeup wipes happening over here. Wow. I like this shade already. This belongs in the Vega palette. My cool neutrals. I love this color. Oh, so pretty. So easy to just throw on the lid too. Blends really nice even though I have no primer on. And not a lot of natural oils left on the eyelid. Wow. That is a pretty mauve tone. Okay, this color I think is interesting. This is Victorian Trim, and it's kind of a magenta shade, not like your typical purpley purple. I'm gonna start with this, and this is another velvet that I actually dug in with my finger. Where do I want to put this? I guess I'm putting it in the middle. Sometimes I don't have a plan. Gonna go for something here. Ooh, this is pretty. That's an interesting color. That was easy. I will say these are all very pigmented mattes, and these are really nice. The textures are very different to me. I don't know why. It just feels like something else, a little drier, but they go on really great. Look at that. Wow. Okay, I have to try Velvet Stone, another velvet. More of a typical sort of royal purpley color. Oh, let's try this guy on the outer part here. Purple's really difficult to do sometimes. It just doesn't blend well. Ooh, wow, the combination of those two shades. Oh, that's stunning. Whoa, that's cool. These are really pretty together. I feel like I don't need a lot with that one though. I feel like I'm touching my eyelid too much, but these are stunning. I mean, just all blended together so well. I'm gonna take some of this magenta under the eye. Wow, we have a lot of purple going on. Really makes my eyes stand out. Now we're going a little bit more editorial with how much purple is on my face. But I'm kind of loving it. I do feel like these are gonna stain my brushes maybe. I probably should have taken a little bit slower of a time to apply these so they're not so much product. A little really goes a long way. Okay, so now time for the fun and sparkle. We have sort of 3 options to work with here. We have 2, we already used that one. We have the top coat, which I didn't like at the swatch, and Faded Amethyst, the metallic here. I'm gonna throw that on first, see how that goes. This purple shimmery shade looks pretty, although it's not as bright. It definitely makes this look a little more toned down and sophisticated with the tone of the shade, which I appreciate. Ooh, that's nice. I'm gonna take the top coat now, and I realize I didn't use this color, which I probably could have started with. I'm gonna apply this top coat in the inner corner. It's got a little bit of a neon-y vibe to it though. It's got some interest there. Reminds me of something Pat McGrath has. It's kind of fun. All right, so I'm tempted to try this purple Nocturama Velvet, maybe across here a little bit. Deepen up that lash line just a bit. That's a fun shade. All right, so this palette's definitely on the grungy side with how much depth is in here. I do think I need some cleanup with concealer. A little bit messy, but that's my fault. I'm going a little bit too fast here. Sicily concealer, and try to clean up some of that fallout. Ooh, that cooling tip feels so nice. So I'm gonna use my sponge here that I used earlier and just go back in. Try not to overdo this step because I'm putting concealer on top of old concealer, but I did remove quite a bit of product every time I change my eye look. Wow. Okay. I don't know that I have a purple small palette like this that is this impactful and dramatic. I actually can't think of one in my collection. So I feel like I need to redo my mascara with this look. So I will be back with the final look on Myth. All right, here is the final look for Myth. This was such a, I mean, it's purple, but I think what stands out the most to me and the most exciting part of the palette is that the mattes are stealing the show. And I don't often say that, like the sultry and sexiness that is a purple, which I don't always say very often. I think it's interesting. And, you know, I like this purple shimmery shade, but it's definitely not like the star of the show like I maybe thought it would be. It's these two guys here and even this guy here. Now, I like this kind of background shade for really any look, but these guys, spectacular drama, and just makes you feel, I don't know, a different kind of vampy, sexy look. And so the lip color I paired with this one is Rose Official, another Lucent formula. And I didn't do a line or anything, and I just kind of like the casual pinkness. It kind of matches the magenta purple in this palette more than anything. You can definitely do something more mauve-y or even slightly purple lip, but I wanted to keep it somewhat fresh with a slightly contrasting lip. And I don't mind the purple shimmer with the rest of the palette. I actually think it goes well. Could I have used something more purple icy? Yes, that's what I would have preferred, given that the shimmer in here is not super bright or impactful. It kind of blends into the background of the mattes. But this is a fun palette. I really enjoyed this look. All right, what are my final thoughts on these looks and the palette? Are they on the palettes? Are they worth it? Which ones do I recommend over the others? Honestly, this is such a hard choice. My first impressions, I like all of them, to be honest. They're all very different. They have their own qualities. Let's start with the first look I did, Vega. Okay, this one I was probably get the most use out of because it's more my style, more everyday, and it has sort of the colors that I use, like the bright inner corner, the matte neutrals, a little bit of shimmer, and I can smoke it up if I want to. These are the colors I probably wouldn't use as much, but the rest of the palette, definitely an everyday. Can use this with the other palettes as well. So I do recommend Vega, but I will say these are not unique colors. I do think this formula is a little bit different and worth at least trying one palette in my opinion. This might be the one if you're looking for something cooler. I think this is a great option. And the mirror, the compact, the refillable packaging, honestly, it's a no-brainer. If you're gonna pick something up from Lisa anyway, you're gonna get a lipstick, just try this one. I think you'll like it. Now the rest of them are more fun, probably not for every day. Maybe more for nighttime, special occasion, whatnot. This one was really easy, you know, hands down, like easy to create something fun. I love greens and I love this matte so much. This shade, this kind of shimmery taupey green, stunning. I haven't tried these yet, but I mean, really everything going on here, excellent. Still a very dramatic look, kind of a party look, quite a bit of fallout in the palette, but I still liked it. So it does make me want to pick this up again, and I love what's going on here. This palette, the one I have on my eyes, purple. I mean, I do like purple. I think if you're going to pick up purple, you should like it. But I think there's a lot of options in here. I mean, just using these two colors, this can easily be an everyday look. No brainer. If you want a little purple sparkle that's not super bright, this pink sort of top coat would be nice with these three as well. Now, if you want to do a little dark lash line, make your lashes look bigger, longer, this would be nice too. Now, this is where the drama happens. I have to really commit that I'm going to be wearing purple today if I'm going to use these, but the result is truly stunning. I probably wouldn't take this shadow quite as high, but I have no regrets in picking this guy up. Honestly, what I love, like, would it have been nice if these were all in one palette? She just gave us a big, whomping, expensive palette. Yeah, that would have been great, but I love that these are small. I love that I can do a lot with a couple of these. And I can take Vega with either of these two palettes and create a full look. I think the green one does work on its own. I feel a little bit more limited because there's only one matte. The other two, if you do like mattes, definitely have more options in that sense. So I would take a look at all the formula details when you're looking at each palette. There's definitely some safer palettes from her collection that are warm, very neutrally. I may pick one up of those later, but we'll see my continued thoughts as I use these, if I'm still liking them a few months later. All right, guys, that is my final thought. $68 for each of these palettes. I would say if you're into the luxury beauty space, I think a nice, beautiful, small compact with nicely pigmented shades that blend out pretty easy, it's worth trying at least one. Just pick one that speaks to you, one that you may get some use out of. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, comment below, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.